It's 2006. You're surfing the web, probably on Internet Explorer. Doctor Who's made a great impression on its return. They have a brilliant website with interactive homepages, Fear Factor, podcast commentaries, and of course, the website games. You have Save Paris, Daleks vs Cybermen, Attack of the Grask, which, seriously, I do need to review at some point, and the coup de grace, The Last Dalek. But we haven't mentioned my favourite, yes, a little known game known as K9 Deja-Who. And despite it being short, it was a wonderful experience to come back to every time I used to play it. But there's something I want to touch upon in this game, and that's the alternative angle that it has on Series 1. So, how does the shoot your dog thing fit in the era of Ninth Doctor? Let's find out. Our first level is set in the spacious landscape of London, 2005, and we have K9 travelling around London trying to defeat the Autons with a little help with the anti-plastic, which he has to chuck in to destroy the Nestine consciousness. And it looks like from these sections of the level we have the Autons on the street, we have Auton Mickey in the restaurant, the Westminster Bridge section, and the part of the Nestine lair. For the sections that change in the episode, for some reason we start off with the Auton invasion in full swing, despite the fact that the part of the level itself is set before the restaurant scene. We also have Auton Mickey still alive, despite the fact that he followed the Doctor after the restaurant and had his head pulled off. So unfortunately K9 doesn't fit within the events of this episode due to the events of themselves being out of order. Had it been used to first take out Auton Mickey in the restaurant, then go through the rest of the level with the other Autons, it would have made a bit more sense. But to be honest, it was a good starter level, not too tricky and really eases you into the game. I do admire the puzzle of having to have the security system shoot the barrels of their projectiles so that K9 can go and find the anti-plastic. So, we go to the next level and we're now transported to Platform 1 in the year 5 billion. This time K9 has to chase the spider droids throughout the maintenance corridors and deactivate them before they can shut down the sun filters. And then after that he has to switch on the sun shields. For the sections of the episode that we used were the part with the spiders being in the maintenance ducts, the encounter for Cassandra, and the climax with the big fans. For what has changed this time is only the Cassandra part, which was not only seen in the part where she would have teleported out of there, but also in the part where she would have evaporated due to the heat, which we find out later in the episode. So again, K9 unfortunately probably couldn't be part of the episode because of the big plot hole of the early return of Cassandra, despite the fact of him answering questions about what happened to the spider boilers. But anyways, this level was great. I really like the twist of K9 having to be spotted by the spiders to lead them away from the maintenance tunnels. Also, I do think I kind of like the strange light puzzle of Cassandra because I find that it was a bit weird, but in an odd video game kind of weird. We now return to London, this time in 10 Downing Street, 2006. K9 has a simple mission this time, which is to destroy the Slovene commander so he can shut down the Slovene advert. The sections used in this episode is basically the chase throughout 10 Downing Street from the beginning of the story and the part in the Prime Minister's office at the end of the story. Although to be honest, they don't actually change that much from the episode. The only major thing would be that Joe Krasnodar Pasmede de Slovene / Joseph Green is not the leader and instead we just have a Slovene commander. And with this finally means that this is basically the first episode that we can actually see K9 being a part of, especially since the Doctor himself was stuck in the cabinet room throughout the whole episode. This level was just okay. It felt like more of a stealth level and you were supposed to take things a bit slowly. However, there really wasn't any stealth and there wasn't really any puzzles that made you think. And it shows with the 90% run being 1 minute that this level is really just short in all honesty. We finally get K9 in the past as he arrives in 1941 London. It's sort of the same as before. K9's mission here is just to collect the nitrogen clusters and put them into the Chula spaceship. The sections used in this level are actually the ones from the following episode, The Doctor Dances, as we have the barricades, the railway station, and the Chula spaceship from that part of the episode. And for the first time in all these levels, they haven't actually changed any of the details from the episodes, with the obvious exception being K9 bringing in the nanogenes to the Chula warship. So I say in this case, K9 being in the episode really works, because not only is he providing the Doctor with the solution, but you could say it could fit around about the time of the episode, if you started him during the Chula's time in the hospital, or even during the time where they were waiting on Jack's ship. This one again was just okay, most of it having to do with no tension compared to the World War III level. I mean, it was still good, but I wish there could have been more that they could have added to make the experience a bit more tense. So, what about the rest of Series 1? Were there any episodes where I could have thought they would have worked with K9? Well, probably not The Unquiet Dead, not only with the Gelf being gas creatures, but it also would have been a terrifying episode where we would have had K9 feel really out of place. Aliens in London is already taken up with the World War III level, so we'll probably just have to skip that one. Dalek, I'll skip just because the last Dalek game exists, so there would have been no reason to have two games to have the same level, and it just would have been a bit superfluous. The long game, no, there's not really anything K9 could fight again, and plus, again, it would have felt really out of place in such a politically charged story. Definitely not for Father's Day, unless you really wanted the part where K9 has to get in the church. Boomtown? Maybe. I can see a level based on the earthquake sequence with him helping out, but you couldn't have really changed it to have Margaret be the boss, because that would have broken the episode's canon. But why wasn't there a level based on the finale? There was two big level opportunities right there. Bad Wolf could have had quiz elements to test the players, and then the part of the Ways could have had K9 against the Daleks. So there was K9 Deja-Who's alternative take on some of the Series 1 episodes. Sure, it was kind of nice and admirable for the creators and the writers of this game to actually try and see how they could fit K9 into the episodes. And yes, I do know of the level based on New Earth, which was the only one that they did for Series 2. And to be honest, it's as short as the World War III level, and there's not really much to it except for K9 sort of finding medicines for the Doctor for his sort of solution at the end of the episode. And basically he also has to outrun the Cat Nuns, which, again, they're as easy as the Slivian were in the World War III level. But I will say, I did like sort of going back to this game. I do have a lot of nostalgic, fond memories of the game. And I hope everybody else enjoys the rest of the excellent content that we have here. As always, I'll be seeing you, my friends.